Before we start, we are going to create a start line. I'm using 1.5. You can use 1 inch if you like, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to rule across. I'm using a pencil because we might erase some part out later. And this line is the start line, and it happens to also be the waistline. Number 1, the waist vertical measurement. My waist vertical measurement is 7 inches. We are using inches today. Then from this point down, I'm going to mark 7 inches. Number 2, the full length of the skirt. The full length of my skirt is 24.5 inches. From the start line down, I'm going to measure 24.5, which is here. Then I'm going to bring this tape almost to the end of the pattern paper and mark the same to enable me to get accurate horizontal lines. I'm going to roll across, label the lines so we know which is which as we go further. The waistline, hip line, hemline, and the center front. Number 4, the waist circumference. My waist circumference is 30 inches. When I divide 30 inches by 4, I'll have 7.5. And that 7.5, I'm going to add 1 inch for the dart that's going to come to this area later. That will be 8.5 inches. So I'm going to mark 8.5 inches. And I'm going to step this point up with 3/4 of an inch to put the side of the skirt up a little bit. Number 5, the hip circumference. My hip circumference is 40 inches. When I divide 40 inches by 4, I'll have 10 inches. And that 10 inches, I'm going to add 1/4 of an inch to it for ease allowance. That will be 10 and 1/4 inches. Then I'm going to mark the 10 and 1/4 inches here. Then I'm going to bring that 10 and 1/4 inches to the hem line because it's a straight skirt. I'll mark. Then number 6, connecting of the points. Now I'm going to connect this point to this point to that point. And I'll connect this point to this center point here. I'm going to connect some part with the French curve. If you don't have a French curve, please carefully maneuver it with your hands. And this with the straight ruler. And connect this point to this point here. Number 7, creating of the dart. To create the dart, we are going to use the apex to apex measurement. My apex to apex measurement is 7 inches. And that 7 inches, I'm going to divide it into 2. When I divide it into 2, I'll have 3.5 inches. That's exactly what I'm going to measure at the waistline. Mark it here. This point here, we're going to length it with 4 inches. Half inch for the triangle that is going to be up later. The 1 inch we added to the waist earlier, we're going to use it now. Half an inch on this side, half an inch on the other side. Now I'm going to connect this point to this point, this point to this point. With the French curve, because that is not entirely straight. Connect this point to this point, this point to this point. I've marked out the lines properly with a marker so that you can see it at home vividly. Number 8, drafting of the side pocket. To draft the side pocket, first I'm going to measure 2 inches from this point down. Like this. This is where the pocket is going to start from. Then I'll measure 7 inches. Then from here I'll measure 10 inches. You can use the same measurement for your skirt if you like, or you can increase it or you can reduce it. Depends on how deep and wide you want your pocket to be. Then I'll just roll this across. This is 6 inches. And we've created something like a box here to guide you. I'm going to wipe this line out of the way because we don't need it anymore. See, that's why I'm using a pencil to be able to erase some parts that we don't need out so that the drafting will be very clear. The mouth of the pocket is 6 inches. I'm going to measure from this point down 6 inches. 6 inches is exactly here and here. It's going to be the mouth of the pocket. Now I'm going to use a French curve to draft the depth of the pocket. If you don't have French curve, all you need to do, you can use your hand to create the depth of the pocket. How do you do that? Bring your hand, put it like this, close to this line here and this line here, like this. Then you start from here. Bring the line all around, like this, to this point. You'll be able to get the depth with what I've just shown to you. Because I have a French curve to make my tutorial faster, I'm going to use a French curve to create that depth. If you have a French curve, place it like this, close to this line here and this line here, and draw your curve. Up to this point. Then you turn your French curve like this and bring this line to this point. Now I'm going to trace it out with a marker so that you can see the curve vividly at home. I've traced the pocket out with a marker so that you can see it at home vividly. The next step is to trim it out. Before I trim it out, I'm going to fold this part to the back so that we don't miss any fabric around this edge when we are using it to cut out our garment. I've trimmed it out successfully, and I'm going to use this to draft the back block. This is how I'm going to do it. This is the block card for the back. I'm going to rule 1 inch out for the zip allowance and the slit at the back. For easy drafting, this is very important. I'm going to punch a hole with a needle. Very easy. Then you punch a hole here. That's it. You will see the importance of the hole later as we go along. Then match the center front with this zip line here. Then you pin together. Then you trim it out. We are using the front block to give the back block the proper shape. I've trimmed it out already. Now I'm going to bring these informations to the back block. Then remember we punched a hole here before? Then I'm going to use this pencil to put a mark here. Very easy. The points will show on the back block. Then raise this spot mark. Mark. Join the lines. This is the 4 inches we marked before. So because it's a back block, I'm going to drag the line down to 5 inches. You have an inch for this arrow here. That will be 5.5 inches. Connect this point to this point, this point to this point. Trace it out with marker so that you can see it at home vividly. And for the slit, I'm going to use 8 inches for the back slit. Now trim this part out. This is the front block and this is the back block. You can see how easy it is. When you finish drafting your block like this, because this is a block, it doesn't have seam allowance. All you need to do when you want to use it to cut out your fabric, put this block on top of a lighter pattern paper like this. Say this is the lighter pattern paper, put it on top like this. Then add half an inch seam allowance all around these edges here, like this and like that. You don't need to add here because this is already the 1 inch seam allowance for the hemming. Just here and here. After that, you keep these ones. Whenever you want to reuse them again, bring them out, put them on top of a lighter pattern paper, add half an inch seam allowance around the edges, then you cut it out, then keep it back again and use that one that you have copied out to cut out your fabric. If you are going to use it to sew a stretchy fabric, you need to still add seam allowance at the waist and 1 inch seam allowance at the bottom. Your pocket also needs seam allowance even if you are sewing a stretchy fabric. You don't want to reduce the size of your pocket. It's only at the side you don't need seam allowance, because if you don't add seam allowance at the waistline and at the bottom, the length of your skirt is going to be shortened. I think that's clear. I think that's all I have for you today in this tutorial. If you like this video, please give me thumbs up. And please comment. Whatever you feel about this drafting, comment. Any question that you need to ask me, put it at the comment section below. I'll be more than glad to answer any of your questions to the best of my knowledge. And if you've not subscribed to this channel, please try and do so. And don't forget to share with others. Bring them into this channel. They will be glad that they are here and they will thank you for it later. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video. God bless you.